Hello, I'm David Dausey, and welcome to the Dausey File. In this segment of the Dausey File, we're going to talk about food safety in the U.S. And I'm going to argue that food safety in the U.S. could be greatly improved, and that I feel that it's one of the U.S. government's greatest failures when it comes to consumer safety. Recently, we've seen a large number of foodborne outbreaks in the U.S. In the last few years, we've had cantaloupe that have killed more than 30 people. We've seen outbreaks happen continually and regularly over time. In August of 2012, there was another outbreak with cantaloupe that killed 2 people. Just this month, in September of 2012, we've seen outbreaks in ricotta cheese. And so the question is, what's going on and why is it happening, and what can we do to protect ourselves, and what can we do to actually stop these things from happening? A little bit of background. One of the reasons why we're having so many foodborne outbreaks in the U.S. is the change that we have in terms of food production and the way that we get our food. Right now, there's a large portion of our food that we import from all over the world. And so where it used to be that only in certain seasons you could eat strawberries, now we have strawberries year-round. And in order to do that, we have to ship strawberries from all over the place. We have to ship them from Mexico, from here, from there. We ship them from all over the place. We freeze them. We keep them processed so that we can have our fruit at all different times of the year. That's one thing that's changed. Another thing that has changed has been this growth of what has been referred to as mega farms. These are these humongous farms that have huge production capacity, and they feed large numbers of people. So we have eggs, hundreds of thousands of eggs coming from one location, etc. And what's happening here is twofold. The first thing is, when we talk about these large mega farms, is that oftentimes they remove the human element from farming. And so what happens is you have a large amount of produce or a large amount of fruits and vegetables that are coming from a farm, and they're going through conveyor belts and other things, and there are a lot of different places where there might be problems that we might not detect. The next is the fact that when you have one large source to get all of the eggs, or to get all of the apples, or to get all of the cantaloupe, what happens is that if there is an outbreak at that one source, or if there's tainted food at that one source, and ends up spreading to so many different locations, in some instances it can affect millions of people just having one farm or one source where you have tainted food. So we have to be careful about where we're getting our food. Importantly, another thing that's happening is we are mass producing our food right now, and we're highly processing it. And so when we talk about the foods that we're getting foods that have been highly processed. And what happens as we process the foods, as we package them, and as we do things, there are many different steps along the way in which contamination can occur. So knowing all of this, what do we do to protect ourselves? Right now, there aren't very good regulations to protect consumers from getting sick. So one of the things you can do to protect yourself is know where you're getting your food. Know where you're getting your food. Buy food locally if you can. If there's a local farmer's market where you can buy your fruits and vegetables and you know the farmer, you know their process, you know how they handle your food, you can trust them, I would rather buy that than buy something that's been mass-produced and is available at the grocery store. The other thing we can do is to make sure to always follow basic food safety standards. We want to make sure we're washing our fruits and vegetables when we get them. Pay close attention to fruits and vegetables that are very porous. One of the reasons cantaloupe always have outbreaks is the fact that they're very porous, and it's very hard to remove the bacteria and the things that might get clogged inside of the porous parts of the cantaloupe. So when you cut open that cantaloupe, you're actually spreading that bacteria into the inside of the cantaloupe where you eat it. The same thing happens with berries, etc. You want to make sure you follow basic food safety when it comes to, you don't want to use the same cutting board for meat that you use for fruits and vegetables, etc., etc. We want to make sure that you're following the best food safety guidelines possible. I would encourage you, though, to contact your representatives and to ask them, what are you doing to keep my food safe? We have to push the government for greater regulation of our fruits, vegetables, and all of our poultry, everything that we get that's processed, so that we can ensure that we are getting food that isn't tainted and that is safe for all of us to eat. I'm David Dausey. Thank you for watching the Dausey File. We'll see you again next time.